Guys, I wanted to talk about increases stitches. If you're using a loom similar to the sock loom 2, in which you have a slider that you can move out as you need to, I figured this would be a great opportunity because, as you notice, there's a hat that I have on there in which I do some increasing of stitches. So this is a great video to go along with that, and it is the melted puffy slouchy hat pattern that you can find on my blog. Again, look for the links below this video to make sure you access my Facebook page for Simply Intertwined and for my blog as well. So we want to increase, and again with this type of loom we can just move the slider out. So I loosened this knob already, and we're just going to move it out to the next row. I'm just going to increase it too, and I'll bring it up here so you can see. I just moved it out to the next section, and then of course make sure you tighten it back up so it doesn't move. Now the first time, one of the times I was doing increasing of stitches, I just turned around and re-wrapped this stitch. And I don't think I have that lined up exactly the way I want it, so let me loosen. And I want to make sure it's lined up as well as I can to the next row. Now, the reason you see the gaps here is I wanted to explain that if you move the slider out and then you work your way around the project and you just simply wrap that empty peg, you're going to end up with a gap like you see in here. And nobody really wants that in their project unless you want to use it as like a decorative element, which would be great as well. But if you don't want that gap to be in your project, that's what I want to show you right now. So we've moved it out. Now what we want to do is we're going to take our looming tool and we're going to go to this, to the loom, or the peg beside it, and we're going to look for the stitch we did just before. You know how on the bottom we've got this back right here? We're going to lift up that last stitch. Can you see how I'm doing that? Let it focus in here. As I'm just picking up that last stitch, and I'm going to take this last stitch and put it on my new peg. And that's all I'm going to do there, and then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to find, oops, getting caught in my camera, I'm going to find either this stitch or that stitch, my last stitch. Let me see if I can zoom in here so I can show you a little better. We're going to go to the last stitch that we had before, on the peg before. So that means we're going to come in here and we're going to grab that last loop that we had. Now just be careful because you only want the loop, you don't want the whole thing. Let me just go off camera for a minute. It's a little tricky to do on camera when you're... Okay, there we go. So you just want to get it on your pick, and that's all I did is I went down and I grabbed that last loop, as you can see, and then I'm going to pull it so it goes over to my new peg that I want to increase. And again, it's going to fight me because I'm holding this different. So I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to put that on that last loop real quick for you guys. So I moved it so it'd be on that last peg. Now when we work around an E-wrap or whatever stitch you're going to do, it's not going to create that hole because we took a stitch from the last one. And then you're just going to wrap or whatever stitch combination you got to do now. And then knit over, and that's going to help you not to have a gap. So I'm going to go ahead and knit a couple rows so that I can show you it on the other side. So I went ahead and I did about 3 more rows, just regular E-wrap knit. Again, you can do whatever stitch is required in the pattern in order to be able to do it. But I wanted to just do a quick showing you of, if you look here, this is where I told you get the gap if you don't bring up that other stitch. But up here you can see that we actually don't end up having a gap because of bringing that one stitch over. So that makes it nice, as we don't have a gap in either corner that we were increasing out. So again, if you want to increase using a sock loom or the all-in-one loom, and really you can do this as a flat panel. If we had wanted to do it as a flat panel, we would do the same process. I'm not going to do a separate video for it because it's the same process. If you have to increase the peg on a flat panel, like say we wanted to increase, this was a flat panel, we would simply move our stitch. You would move your outer stitch over, and then again you would reach in and grab that stitch. What you're going to do is you're going to look next to it and you're going to find that little loop in there. And again, if you wrap the loom tight, it's going to be troublesome doing this. So really make sure you watch your tension, because if you have to come in here and get a loop, you don't want to be fighting for it. You want to be able to pick it up nicely. But again, as a flat panel, you would do the same thing. You would just move out some of the pegs and do the same process wherever you need to do the increase. So I hope this helps, and I hope that you definitely find some cool patterns that will let you use this tip.